Howdy y'all, Christi here with Little Salty Homesteader. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am out here in the garden, obviously. I am in the 2 raised beds where I grow my sweet peppers and my okra. I have been having a bit of an issue with the plants not really growing as quickly as I was hoping that they would. So I did a little bit of research, and what I found is that the compost that I put into these beds wasn't as broken down as it should have been, and it had quite a few larger bits of like wood mulch or bark or something. And I think that what that is doing, those large huge chunks of wood and bark are causing like a nitrogen lock because they're not all the way broken down. They're sort of kind of stealing the nitrogen out of the soil that these plants need in order to thrive and survive. So they are a little bit slow growing. So I did some research to see what I can do to kind of help them out while the compost continues to break down, and then that nitrogen becomes more readily available to the plants. So in the interim, while we wait on that, I do have a bit of a solution, a bit of a workaround. So what I'm going to be doing in these raised beds today is, even though I just did it last week, a week ago, I am going to be applying earthworm castings around all of the plants that are currently growing, and then I'm going to be applying liquid fertilizer. Diluted, of course. I'm not putting it full strength on here. I'm going to dilute it according to the package directions and then thoroughly water all of these plants. Even though we have gotten a bit of rain lately, I'm just trying to give these plants a fresh shot of nitrogen to kind of help boost some growth so they will be happier plants. So let's take a look at the issues that I'm seeing, and that way you'll kind of understand why I need to start troubleshooting things, because they're a little slow growing and not as thriving as those raised beds right there. I just knocked the light off the side. Alright, so the best place to start is going to actually be with these bush beans here. You can see this new growth is actually quite green. However, the older growth is kind of yellow, and the yellow leaves is a good indication that they're not getting as much nitrogen as they need in order to thrive. These newer leaves have grown after the application of earthworm castings and fertilizer last week, so I do believe that it's helping, but as I kind of pan through here, you can see that I don't think it's going to hurt anything to go ahead and apply some more at this point, especially since we've had so much rain. It likely washed a lot of it off. Let's take a look at this squash plant down here, this partial eclipse squash right here. Now, this is actually 2 plants, but a couple of weeks ago when I was pointing out some stuff going on in the garden, these were vibrant, bold, rich green, and now you can see they're kind of faded and yellow green. So I do think that what is happening is what I mentioned at the beginning of the video with the nitrogen lock. The larger pieces of mulch and bark and stuff sort of stealing the nitrogen from all of these other plants. Now, looking at this petunia, if you can see, the leaves are a bit yellow. Even though it's still flowering, the flowers don't really rely on the nitrogen. That's more potassium, but the leaves are starting to yellow a bit compared to petunias around the rest of the garden. So I'm definitely leaning towards the nitrogen lock happening within the soil. If you amend your growing spaces with compost and you notice that it might have too much bark or mulch or something occurring in it, go ahead and try these solutions that I'm going to be utilizing today. I am noticing much better results since I did the same thing last week, but again, I'm just reapplying again, really just trying to make sure that there's a lot of nitrogen readily available for all of these plants. You can see that the peppers don't really have a lot of growth. The flowers here don't really have a lot of growth, and the okra along the back especially, they're only, you know, a couple of inches tall, and it is looking a little bit better on this raised bed. So you can see these beans are much greener, but we're still experiencing a little bit of a nitrogen issue. You can see the squash is starting to turn a little bit yellow, and the okra back there hasn't grown a whole ton. So we are going to be doing the same thing in both beds. Okay, so what I have is actually just a big bag of earthworm castings. That was a 30-pound bag. I have used some out of it, amending all my growing spaces, but you can see it is organic. I got the huge bag there off of Amazon, so if you are in need, maybe check there. But I just have this. I'm just gonna take it by little handfuls and just kind of sprinkle it around the base. And it is going to be a little bit time consuming because I have a lot of plants in here, but I want to make sure that I kind of treat everything and give everything a shot of nutrition here. So obviously that was a very easy process. The thing with the earthworm castings is they're not giving like a direct shot of nitrogen to these plants. They are, however, providing the plants with a ton of micronutrients. Earthworm castings is probably one of the best things that you can apply to your garden, especially if you are an organic gardener. I have a goal this year of setting up my own worm farm so I don't have to continue to buy earthworm castings, and I have less food waste going into the garbage. But as of right now, those store-bought ones work pretty well. That is the brand I typically buy whenever I am buying them. For the liquid fertilizer, now the reason why I'm going with a liquid fertilizer instead of a straight nitrogen fertilizer like blood meal is because blood meal can take anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks for the nitrogen to become available for the plants. It does have to break down a little bit more. This is going to be pretty instant. I'm just going to basically water the plants like I normally would. I'm just diluting this into the watering can, and the dilution for this is 1/8 of a cup per gallon of water. Now this says I can use it every 1 to 2 weeks, so I'm perfectly within line of that because it was literally a week ago that I applied the last round of liquid fertilizer. So I'm not worried too much about over fertilizing, mostly because we did get all that rain last week and it did wash off anything that I applied last Monday. So this is 242, so that is like 2 parts nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. That doesn't sound like a super strong fertilizer, like a lot of times the granulated ones have higher NPK amounts. However, because it is an instant shot of nutrition, it is going to help these plants put on some new leaf growth. So yeah, if you notice that your plants are looking a little bit yellow, maybe like they could use a little upshot of nitrogen, try the liquid fertilizer first, just because it does have that instant gratification. And you can always add blood meal to your soil as well. That way over time, as it breaks down, your plants then get that kind of slow boost to their growth. All I have for today. Hopefully this troubleshooting stuff starts showing some results soon. And if you like today's video and you want to continue to see how I troubleshoot different problem areas of my garden, please like, subscribe, and comment. Do all those different YouTube things. It is greatly helping my channel. Otherwise, until next time, go find a way to get those garden manicures. Bye!